All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are talking about Meta's absolutely massive trillion-dollar pivot. We're looking at 2026, a year where the company is making a bet so huge it will either completely redefine the future of tech or become one of the most expensive failures in history. So let's break down what's really at stake here. And that really brings us to the most important question of all. In 2026, what even is Meta? Because right now, you can't really think of it as one company. It's more like two, living under the same roof, but pulling in completely opposite directions.
And here it is, the core conflict, laid out perfectly. On one side, you've got the family of apps, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook. This thing is a profit engine, printing over $20 billion in a single quarter. But then, on the other side, you have Reality Labs, the moonshot factory, and it has burned through an unbelievable $70 billion since 2021. So one side is funding the other, creating this massive tension right at the heart of the company.
Okay, so let's start with the part of Meta that's bankrolling this whole operation. The ad engine isn't just doing okay, it's actually speeding up. And understanding this is the key to figuring out how on earth Meta can afford to make this kind of bet on the future.
It really all begins with this number, almost 4 billion people. That's how many use one of Meta's apps every single month. I mean, that is just a staggering scale. We're talking about roughly half the planet, and that right there is the foundation that their entire financial empire is built on. Now, what's really crucial to understand is that AI isn't just some future pipe dream for Meta. It's actually making their main business stronger today. AI recommendations are already behind more than half the ad delivery on Instagram Reels. At the same time, they're finally starting to make real money from WhatsApp. And Threads is now rolling out ads to its 400 million users. It's this AI-powered growth that has analysts thinking ad revenue is going to rocket past $150 billion. So now let's switch gears and look at the other Meta. This is where we see one of the biggest corporate gambles in history taking shape. All that profit from the family of apps, it's being poured into this. And the numbers, well, they're almost hard to wrap your head around. First, you just have to absorb the sheer size of the investment they've already made. $70 billion in losses. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's more than the entire value of a company like Ford or General Motors. Just gone. Spent on a division that's still years away from making any real profit. And they're not hitting the brakes, no way. For 2026 alone, Meta is planning to spend over $110 billion. That number completely dwarfs the massive losses they've already racked up. This isn't just a bet. It's an all-in, push every chip to the center of the table move. And pretty much all of it is going to build out AI infrastructure.
So where's that money going? Well, a lot of it is going to build tangible, colossal things like this. Meet Hyperion. It's an AI data center in Louisiana, and it's designed to be the largest in the world. They're talking about an energy demand similar to a small city, and it has one job: to train the next generation of Meta's AI models.
And here's what that giant AI factory is going to be making. Meta's developing these incredibly powerful new models. And interestingly, they're moving away from their open source strategy for these. First up is Avocado, which is designed for complex reasoning, aiming to go head-to-head with OpenAI and Google. Right after that comes Mango, a multimodal model, which means it can create and understand text, images, and video, and it's aiming for unbelievable realism. This is what a $110 billion investment buys you. But of course, a pivot this ambitious doesn't happen in a nice, clean bubble. There are some pretty significant external threats. Storm clouds are definitely gathering that could derail this entire multi-billion-dollar plan. And it doesn't matter how good the tech is.
The biggest shadow, without a doubt, is cast by regulators. The Federal Trade Commission has been pursuing this monopolization case against Meta for years now. And even after Meta got a favorable ruling, the FTC just filed an appeal in January. So this legal battle over the very acquisitions that built their empire, Instagram and WhatsApp, it's just going to keep dragging on.
And it's not just the FTC. A new class action lawsuit is now challenging WhatsApp's privacy claims. Trade tensions with China could jack up their hardware costs by more than 18%. And then there's the big one. Any major economic slowdown could hit ad spending hard, and that's the very engine fueling this entire operation. The risks are coming from all directions at once.
So what do we have? An incredibly powerful profit machine funding a massive, risky gamble, all while trying to navigate a minefield of threats. This brings us right to the trillion-dollar question. How are investors supposed to feel about Meta's future?
Well, the bull case is definitely strong. Despite all those risks, top analysts at big firms like Jefferies and UBS think the stock is actually way undervalued. They're setting price targets over $900 a share, which suggests a potential upside of around 45%. They're looking at that AI potential as a huge, underappreciated game changer.
And this slide just lays out the two competing stories perfectly. The bulls see a bargain stock with massive potential in places like Threads and WhatsApp, all spun up by an AI flywheel. The bears, on the other hand, see completely unsustainable spending, constant regulatory headaches, and huge risks from the economy. It's the classic battle, opportunity versus risk.
And so in the end, it all boils down to the single monumental question. Meta is betting its entire future on artificial intelligence. In a few years, we're going to know if Mark Zuckerberg created the next dominant computing platform, or if this whole thing goes down in the books as the most expensive corporate gamble in history. The answer isn't just going to define Meta, it's going to help define the future of technology for all of us.